I know you can feel it. Something is changing. Something is coming. And it's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be pretty. And if anything, it might take normal life and bastardize it. We might not be able to live a very normal life for very long, and whatever that means, I'm not 100% sure. I know from reading the comments, I read all comments, I try to respond to most of them, but after reading the comments on my videos, you guys are obviously incredibly intelligent, critical thinking. We obviously think very similarly, but I'm learning so much from you guys, and I really appreciate that because I love learning. I'm not trying to butter you up, I'm being genuine in this because it's exciting to be a part of a community that thinks similarly. Like, you know, before I started this YouTube channel, it was, I felt in the dark, in solitude. Like, not a lot of people think like me, and I feel like you guys actually do. You guys are coming out of the woodwork to view my channel, and I'm honored, and I appreciate that. My channel kind of started as a self-improvement channel, but I'm veering off to a more critical thinking. I want to keep the self-improvement, but I want to intertwine it with more critical thinking. So in this video, I'm essentially going to break down what I think could be happening, what could happen, and then at the end, I will tell you what I'm doing to prepare for it, and you can also maybe get some ideas on how to prepare for it as well. So stay tuned for that towards the end of the video. Whoa! Things have just been changing, and changing so rapidly, right? Ever since 2020. I think we can all agree that something in the air is different. I've been saying it for months, if not years, that something just feels very different. I can imagine you feel it too. Tons of creators are saying it. I'm not the first, I know. But if anything, I hope you can enjoy my presence. And I am so glad you enjoy the nature, the beautiful nature around us. It's just incredible. Welcome to Treu Sovereignty, where we are mastering our minds so we can reclaim our peace. On this channel, I have divided a playlist into self-improvement and critical thinking, because that's what I think that this channel embodies. We cultivate independence, inner peace, maturity, and just overall different beautiful ways of thinking, because we don't all think the same. And I'm glad you can join me. I think if you do join me, if you decide to subscribe, that not only is it an honor, but you'll be part of a community that I'm building, that we are free thinkers, we are critical thinkers. You're not just subscribing to a YouTube channel, you're subscribing to a community of people who think similarly to you. And I just want to say one thing. I love watching YouTube. And I have a few YouTubers that I watch on the daily. No matter what they post, I'm watching it. And I just discovered that I wasn't even subscribed to these YouTubers. So if you like my stuff and you want to keep seeing it, you want to see what I have to say, you're super curious, you got to hit that subscribe button. I think there might be a bell that you have to hit as well. Now on to the deeper topic of the video. So speaking of YouTubers that I watch all the time but didn't know I wasn't subscribed to, Dad in Dark Mode is kind of what kicked off this video idea for me. It's not gonna be a response video. It's not gonna even be a critique of his video. It's just, he kind of inspired the creation of this video. And every single YouTuber or creator I talk about, I will always link down below. So don't worry, they're gonna get their credit where credit is due. Now, my video is gonna be very different from his video. I think his video was great. It's called, I don't know what the video is called, but I believe the thumbnail says something bad is coming. So his video mostly talks about his childhood. I would say 3/4 of the video were about him and his life, and I kind of understand why he did that, but I also don't 100% understand why he took so long to get to the point, because I clicked on his video for the title and the thumbnail, but I had to listen to his childhood biography, and I don't know why. I just don't know why it was that long. I'm not one to critique any creator. I am a brand new creator here. So no hate, no nothing. And also I ramble as well, which I need to stop doing. So, but ultimately at the end of the video, the climax of the video, it was a little disappointing. So I just want to say, most of his videos are not like that. Most of his videos get right to the point at the beginning. And he's a fantastic creator, and I am subscribed, and I will continue to watch his videos. We all have videos that are gonna flop. And I just appreciate a creator being a creator. So, and that video didn't flop, by the way. I'm pretty sure he got tons of views on that video as per usual. I'm just telling you that I wanted to kind of create a more fleshed out video that I thought his video was going to be. So that's kind of where I got the idea. Another creator I want to talk about is Jeff Berwick, also known as the Crypto Vigilante. He's someone that I've been watching for years, since COVID, so 6 years. He just got back on YouTube, but he's an incredibly controversial figure, and I recommend him as well. Huge conspiracy theorist, obviously, but what the hell does conspiracy theorist even mean anymore? Critical thinker. I'm gonna just call him a critical thinker. Huge critical thinker. A lot of what he says is incredibly wild, and I don't believe everything he says necessarily. I think a lot of it is exaggerating to kind of fearmonger, get attention, get viewers. But he was banned on YouTube for quite a while, so he's a little on the extreme side of the conspiracy stuff. He's also obviously very into crypto, finance, investing, things like that. That's kind of how he got his start. A little bit about him, but I recommend going to check him out because a lot of what I'm gonna say here is related to everything he talks about. And I'm not gonna say all the stuff he talks about in this video because it's 6 years of stuff. So I recommend, if you're interested in this type of stuff, to go check him out. So obviously, I'm not a huge fan of the government, any government, but I live in the USA, so not a huge fan. I'm neither liberal nor conservative. I'm not moderate, I'm not anything. I'm maybe libertarian, maybe anarchist, I don't know what you'd call me, but obviously not a huge fan of the system. I think it's shit, I think it's crap, I think it sets people up for failure. I think the government has an agenda, and what that agenda is, I'm not 100% sure, obviously. How can you be 100% sure as someone kept in the dark, just like everybody else? Ultimately, I think they're looking for power and control. Anybody it's not the patriarchy trying to control women, it's billionaires, the elites, anybody in the club that it will never be officially released what this club is about. You could call it the Illuminati, I'm not really sure what it is. But they're trying to control us because we are powerful. We're powerful together, we're powerful in and of ourselves. We have strength in numbers, and they don't like that. They want us to be stupid, dumb, fat, sick, poor, you name it. And they have an agenda to control us, and however they go about that is their own prerogative, but it's gonna be a surprise, whatever it is. It's gonna shock us, it's gonna take us by storm. Look at the Epstein files. It's just proof. They tell you one thing, and then they do something else. They lie, they cheat, they steal, they avoid any consequences. They are above the law in their own mind. They're con artists, they're actors, they are psychopaths. They support PDF files. And when I say PDF files, I think you know what I mean. I'm not talking about actual PDF files. I'm talking about PDF files, okay? They support them, and they are for them, and they are them. So, all in all, it's a corrupt system, obviously. I think most of my viewers will realize that. So, I don't think any of this is new to you, and if it is, you're a little bit behind. Okay, because this shit has been coming to the surface for decades. And I only got into it just about a decade ago. It was first revealed to me. And it started to come to light slower and slower and slower. And of course, as the more shit that came up, the more my stomach goes in knots. It's not like I wanted to think this way or to know this or for this truth to come to light. It's not like I wanted that because it altered my perception of reality. It took away my innocence. So it's not easy being a truth seeker. Not only that, but it ostracized me. People, friends started to fall away gradually, saying that I was crazy, So what can you do? You can stop voting. You can stop paying taxes, possibly. You can stop listening to the government and believing them. Don't get the digital ID. Don't get your real ID. Don't get a vaccine. So what they do is they present a problem and then they solve the problem. They solve the problem that they created, and they do it with a veil of where this is safety. This is safety for you. You will be safe if you do ... Or they will present it as a convenience. Like the digital ID is going to be presented to you as a convenience. Like you will never have to go to the DMV ever again. You will never have to carry around an ID or a passport ever again. You'll be able to get on a flight with a click. You'll be able to purchase every single thing through this digital ID. The digital ID is going to be a prison, a digital prison. So we need to back away from that, okay? Other countries are already doing it. The UK, Europe, parts of Europe, even some places in Scandinavia, Canada, they're all very low trust societies. And I feel like USA is getting there. We're coming around, but USA is still a very high trust society. And my theory on that is because of patriotism. I think Americans are very passionate, energetic, and patriotic. I mean, just look at American football. People go crazy for who they think is their team in the USA. Like, USA is very team-oriented, and politics is not an exception to that. They treat politics the way they treat American football. So I think it's very tough to get through to Americans that everything they've ever been taught, everything that they've ever believed, and every leader that they've ever idolized it's all a lie. And it's very hard for people to digest that, and I understand that, believe me, I do. Because I was there at one point. I didn't want to believe what I was hearing, what I was seeing. But it's time for us to open our eyes and to wake up and to realize that these people do not have our best interest in mind. They don't care about us, they never have, they never will. It doesn't matter who starts running. It doesn't matter if Bernie Sanders or some brand new person we've never seen who seems to be libertarian or something. I don't care. Anybody that they put in front of your face, that they allow to be put in front of your face on the television, that person is part of the club, and I don't trust them. I don't care. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Are you vibing with this type of vibe, or is this not my audience? Let me know. I want to know what you think. I create stuff for you guys, not just for my own pleasures, for you guys. I want you guys to feel included. So let me know what you think down below. Do you think that we can trust anybody in the government, or are they just all corrupt, psychopathic assholes? Let me know what you think down below. So what could be coming our way? Because, like I said, something is coming. We just don't know what it is. And I have a few theories, but I'm gonna be honest with you. It could be none of these, or it could be all of these. You really never know. And honestly, I think we might even be going through some of these right now. We're just not being informed of it, and we're being lied to. So obviously I mentioned the digital IDs and overall the digital prison. This is gonna include the digital ID, the real ID, CBDCs, which are central bank digital currencies. Instead of fiat currency, instead of crypto, it's gonna be the government's digital money. That's not good. Do you really want, have you seen the state of the government? You really want them controlling your money? They already do. Well, banks do, which is, I don't know. They already kind of control our money right now, but do you really want them to have full power? They don't have full power over cash, how we use cash right now. Financial collapse. Obviously the American dollar is losing power every single day, every single minute, every single second, ever since they took away the gold standard. But I think there possibly could be a bigger financial crash where we might wake up and our monies are not in the bank. Something like that. Or stocks just plummet like crazy, or they no longer accept cash, or they totally get rid of fiat and move it over to CBDCs. Comment down below, because I'm not hugely educated in the finance department. How could this financial crash occur? Obviously, I think this is one of the things that we are already experiencing, but we're being lied to about it. They're saying that we're all in the green, we're all in the green. Yeah, maybe for like rich people, the wealthy, the 1%, the 10%, maybe you're in the green, but I think most regular citizens are in the red. So let me know what you think down below. How could a financial crash occur? Even more than it already has. Another thing is we could experience another pandemic. Planned, unplanned, whatever, I don't care. Another pandemic would be absolutely devastating. The first one already was. Bill Gates already came out years ago, I think even before COVID, but also after COVID, saying there will be another pandemic and it'll teach us a lesson. I think he kind of said something like that. So that's a little scary. And it might be worse than a COVID pandemic. I don't think COVID is a non-virus. I think it's real. I'm not one of those people that doesn't believe COVID is real, but I do think that it was controlled and released. And I don't think it was an accident. That's my personal opinion. You might think otherwise. But yeah, it could be planned, or it could be released by accident. You know, with all the experiments going on, we just never know what's going to happen. So hopefully my channel doesn't get flagged for speaking about this shit. Anyway, if it does, whatever. Solar flares that could shut down the grid and the network. So this would be incredibly, incredibly devastating. And it could occur over the course of months. Months, whatever. If we lost electricity, imagine what that would do. Now, a couple of days ago, Xfinity went down in my area and surrounding areas for over 4 hours. It was almost 5 hours that I had no cell service, no internet, nothing. I was totally closed off to the world. I thought it was the entire world experiencing it. I wasn't sure. There was no way for me to find out. So that's another thing. If the network goes down and even electricity goes out, you don't know if it's just your area. You don't know if it's just gonna be for a few hours, a few days, a few weeks, a few months. You don't know anything. You're completely in the dark. And I'm all alone out here. I do have friends, but they live like 20, 30 minutes away from me. There was no way, I don't know where they live. I don't know where their houses are. No way for me to what I did was I drove to my local shop, a local shop with a guy who works there who's really cool. I went inside, I was like, hey man, do you have Wi-Fi? He's like, nope, everything's down. That was the only way I discovered that it was not just me, number one. And it was at least the whole area that was out, but I wasn't sure if it was the entire world, the entire country, just the area. I wasn't sure. So totally in the dark, totally an idiot to anything that could be going on. So something like solar flares knocking out the power grid, so devastating. And then especially in the wintertime when everyone is fucking freezing, you know how devastating that would be to lose power, to lose heat? There would be so many people who would die from hypothermia, possibly starvation, who knows? And I don't know if you remember, but there was an interview from Dennis Quaid where he said that solar flares knocking out our power grid is not a matter of if, but a matter of when. And he went into detail about that. I will try to link the video down below. But it was one of the scariest interviews I've ever watched. And I watched a lot of scary videos and scary interviews about our future and what could possibly go wrong. I don't know if we are that far away from something like that happening. Now, that's not our government doing that. Obviously, that is an anomaly of weather, space, whatever you want to call it. But ultimately, we live on the power grid now. We are not like from the 1800s or before electricity. We don't know how to function without electricity. So that's another thing that worries me a lot. Even if we were just without network and internet, I think we'd be lost. I really do. Because everybody in town was going crazy. I actually just stayed in my house. I drove home immediately and I stayed in my house because if the network goes down, the cash registers don't work. They're all hooked up to the network. They can't open the cash register even to get cash. You can't even pay with cash. So what I heard from the community Facebook pages was that everybody in town was going crazy because they couldn't purchase food, water, whatever they needed. So just look at the state of human beings right now. They're already in this state of like high alert, high stress. It would not be a calm, cool, collected thing if the network went down, let alone if electricity went out. Oh my God, everybody would be going crazy. There would be looting, stealing, killing. I think somebody said that if the power totally went out, most people, and I don't agree with this, but they said most people or like a good percentage of people would die in the first month mostly because of humans killing other humans. Not because of starvation or thirst or hypothermia, but because of humans killing other humans. Isn't that scary? I believe that part. I don't know if I believe most people would die in the first month, but I do believe that most people would die because of humans killing other humans. Because people are fucking crazy, so. And people don't know how to survive without this shit anymore. There are maybe, I would argue that maybe only 1 to 5% of people on this planet right now, or in this country, have any semblance or any knowledge of survival. And that's a little scary. And I'll include myself in that. I know a little bit because I've done camping, but other than that, scary, right? I don't know if I would survive that. Simply because people might try to come into my place and take advantage of me. So, that's a scary thought. And this is the last one. It's a fake alien invasion. This one's a little more far-fetched, but you've heard of Project Bluebeam, I'm sure. It's possible. They could put a fake alien invasion out to create this one world government where we now have to put our full trust in our leaders because we have no other choice, because the invader is no longer another country or a terrorist or anything like that. It's a space invader. So just be wary, and even if the government is telling you there's a pandemic, there's a war, there's an alien, there's a financial crash, don't always 120% believe them. Try to use your brain and think and critically think that they could be lying to you to manipulate you and to get you under their control. So I'm not saying listen to me like I'm some type of expert on any of this. There are plenty of prepper YouTube channels that you can get information from, and I highly suggest going to them. I don't have any off the top of my head right now. But this is what I've written down for myself ever since that outage, that blackout that happened in my area. I've been really thinking, what did I have? What did I not have that could have prepared me better for a network outage? And then it got me thinking, what could help me prepare better also for an electricity outage as well. Because on that list that I just gave you, I think the most likely things that are going to occur are probably the digital ID and the grid outage. I think those are the tippy top things that are most likely going to occur that could actually be devastating to society. So I'm just going to list some things. If you want to skip this, go ahead. Have backup power, like a generator or a large battery with solar panels, so you can repower it. You can find that on Amazon. Obviously, extra food and water. I have like a 5-gallon water jug in my closet full of clean water. It's just sitting there. And then a pack of like 72 meals that are like dry meals that can last. They're like camping meals, right? It's just for me in my closet. Easy to keep, easy to find, easy to buy. Also, a way to filter dirty water, because we can run out of the water that we have, right? So right now I have iodine tablets, super easy to use. And I also have water straws that filter out water. You can buy those on wherever. And there's also something called a Berkey, which is one of the best water filters in the world. Check that out. Weaponry. Have weapons. It doesn't need to be a gun necessarily, but that's always a smart idea. Could be knives, machetes, axes, bow and arrow. Pick your weapon. Extra batteries. And then also those small pack batteries, like the things that you use for your phone during camping or like a big trip. Have a bunch of those. Battery-powered lanterns, light sources, flashlights, candles. An emergency blanket. This can help you if the electric goes out and you're in the cold. Always have cash, because you just never know. If the network goes out, you gotta have cash to be able to buy stuff. Rope. I don't know why I wrote rope, but rope is always a good idea. First aid. Space heaters. Space heaters that you can plug into that battery, that large battery. They cost anywhere from $500 to $1,000 depending on the kilowatt that you get. But space heaters to keep you warm at least for a little while. I know space heaters suck a lot of power. Also have like maybe a little fire pit with extra firewood, just ready to burn, ready to go. And lighters, a flint, something to make fire. Make sure you're stocked up on your meds. If you take medications that help keep you alive, stock up on that. Appropriate clothing. Okay, I'm wearing like this Carhartt jacket. It's super warm. A hat, boots. If you have to move, if you have to leave, if you have to go hiking for whatever reason, you have to have appropriate clothing. A propane stove for camping. They're cheap, they're affordable, they're a way to cook food and boil water. I always say have a bug out bag ready in your car. I'm gonna show you my car right now. I built it. It's a bed. It's for camping, but it's also for like survival. I call it my bug out car. If I ever had to leave in a hurry, in a rush, I have everything I need in this car. Survival items, extra food, extra clothes, just pretty much like camping supplies, but a little more, right? So have a bug out bag. You don't need a bug out car, but have a bug out bag in case you need to leave in a hurry. Extra fuel always helps, and even a way to recharge your car if your battery dies in your car. A transistor radio, so you're not so in the dark if the network goes out, like I was. I was like, oh man, a transistor radio would be really good right now. Headlamps. I say fuck flashlights and just have a headlamp, because headlamps are super cheap. You could put them on your head and forget about them, and you have a light source. Survival booklet. Maybe a few different types of survival booklets, because you're not gonna, unless you are like Bear Grylls or some shit, you're not gonna always remember every single survival thing that you've learned from the Boy Scouts or camping or the Girl Scouts or your survival class that you took 10 years ago. Keep either your notes or your booklets handy. It'll help, I think. A tent, in case you have to sleep outside. It's better to sleep in a tent than in, the elements. Pretty much, make sure you have a bunch of camping supplies. Most importantly, you need to be prepared mentally and emotionally. The people who will die first, let's say for the sake of entertainment purposes, let's say a zombie apocalypse hit, right? And you survive the very first outbreak. The people who survive the very first outbreak are not necessarily the most skilled or the most prepared people. Some of them are just lucky. If you were to survive the first outbreak and you had nothing but your mental, you would more than likely survive the rest. Now, don't get me wrong, would I want to survive through a zombie apocalypse? Not necessarily. But that sounds like a hellish, horrible type of life. But, you know, if there were almost like a promise that life would get back to some semblance of normality, if I could just stay alive for a certain period of time, maybe I'd try to survive. But even the most prepared people, like there could be preppers out there that are weak mentally, they will not survive, because the ultimate survival tip, I think any prepper or survivalist will tell you, is that the first thing to go is your mental. The fact that your life will no longer be the same, everything is now changed, and you have to learn how to survive in a totally different manner. You've never been taught this before. You are an adult. Your brain has been developed. It's not easy to change and to adapt to new ways of living, especially if they're completely the opposite of what you were doing prior. So the biggest thing you can do is work on your mental. So none of this is to scare you. This is not fear-mongering, and I'm not going to be talking about this all the time on my channel. But it's something that I was inspired by through the blackout that I experienced a couple days ago, and the video that I saw from Dad in Dark Mode. And obviously all that compounded with what I've been hearing from Jeff Berwick for the last 6 years. So all that to say, this is not to scare you. It's just better to be prepared. It's better to have and not need than to need and not have. I love that saying. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if something happens, any of those things, it's going to happen by surprise. You're going to wake up in the morning and go to work just like any other day. And your entire life could come crashing down by 1 p.m. It's not going to be something that happens gradually. It's going to be something that happens instantly. And it's going to take you aback and take you by surprise. And if you are prepared, you will say, okay, I know what to do. I know I'm prepared. I got everything that I need behind me. And I'm going to move forward. I'm going to do what I need to do, whether it's to protect yourself, your spouse, your family, your pet, whoever you want to protect. You know that you can, and you know that you prepared yourself for this, and you prepared your mental for this, and you almost expected this. You're already way ahead of the curve. You're way ahead than you're way more ahead than most people. You'll be less scared and you'll be more focused and ready to go. So all that to say, that's all I wanted to say. And again, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your opinions. Drop them down below. If you think I'm a crazy weirdo, let me know. If you like this content, feel free to like, share, subscribe. It means a lot. I already kind of told you how I'm pivoting my channel. I'm trying to figure out my audience and what they like. Obviously, you like the men and women kind of stuff, but I don't just want to talk about men and women all the time. I want to talk about other things. So I hope you appreciate that. And until next time, I will see you in the next video.